Recently, I've been doing my coolant flash on a WRX STI 16 model year, that is EJ257 engine, and I've ordered exactly 3 gallons of super coolant. Actually, you don't need that much, third one is just to be sure it's going to be enough, and maybe for future uses, to add more coolant if it leaks during some procedures like throttle body cleaning, etc. And the thing is that most people do coolant change just using the peacock valve on the radiator. But I wanted to do a full coolant flush, drain as much old coolant as I could. So let me share with you guys how I did that, and maybe this video will be helpful to you as well. First thing that you want to do is to jack up the front of your car to have easy access underneath. And make sure you put some jack pads on both sides. I also put some old tires under the car just to feel more safely. Then you open the trunk and remove the coolant reservoir. In order to do it, remove the drain hose first, then press the tab to the right as I show you now. That should allow the corner of the tank to be moved away from the stud. And I can't show it because I am holding the camera, but it's really easy. Just don't push it too hard so you don't break the plastic parts. Next, you want to remove the radiator cap on the top. It will help to drain coolant faster. Make sure you drain it engine cold. And actually here we are at the first drain point. Is actually that radiator peacock underneath the car. It's a simple plastic bolt that can be removed with any Phillips head or a screwdriver. Just make sure you put some drain pan under, because it's going to drain very fast and most of the coolant will actually come out from this point. Mine is actually not draining at all because I've already done that and it's pretty much empty. Just don't forget to put that peacock back on after you complete the draining process at this point. So next drain point is actually this big hose on the other side. To make it cleaner, you could clamp that hose with some hose pinch pliers, then remove one side and let it drain a bit. After that, you can freely take off your hose pinch pliers and this will drain all the remaining coolant from the system, at least from the radiator. You could also remove the thermostat to drain a bit more coolant, however it's not worth it unless you need to replace the thermostat. But just to show you how to do it, I'm going to remove it. All you need to do is to remove the two bolts holding the thermostat housing, then take off the housing itself and gently pull out the thermostat. Just be sure to don't break it. After you're done, reinstall the thermostat exactly as it was, making sure the small valve is positioned on the upper side. Keep this in mind because it's quite important. Now let's move on to the next 2 points. You'll need a 14mm hex head and a breaker bar for this step, and what we are going to do is remove the coolant drain plugs from both engine blocks. This will allow any additional coolant to drain from the engine itself. So let's slide under the car. And as you can see, the driver's side engine block coolant drain plug is located near the oil pan, to the left side of it to be precise. So we need to break that loose. Make sure to be cautious and wear safety glasses, cause coolant will leak and there is chance it could get into your eyes. It's actually kinda dangerous, so safety is our top priority. So I've did that and here is the drain plug. So as you can see, it's a bit dirty and some old gasket material left on the threads. We need to clean it thoroughly before installing. And just to be sure it sits tight and not leaking, I also applied some of the Permatex grey gasket maker on the threads and then reinstalled that drain plug back on, and the torque spec is 54 Newton meters. Next, we're going to drain coolant from the passenger side engine block. And one thing you're gonna notice is that depending on the car model, there could be oil cooler, and that drain plug is actually integrated in this system. You could skip draining the passenger side, there is nothing wrong about it as there is not much coolant there. However, if you decide to do it, you'll need to disconnect this hose from one side and let the coolant drain from the passenger side of the engine block. Yes, it's slightly more challenging task to accomplish, so many people actually don't do it and just keep this plug. And finally, the last two draining points are completely optional and it's up to you to decide whether to do it or not, and that are the throttle body hoses and the coolant overflow tank. If you have the time and patience, you can drain them as well. However, as I mentioned, it's optional and only worth doing it if, for example, you're cleaning throttle body or performing some related maintenance. And finally, just be sure to reassemble everything back on how it was. And don't forget to let the gasket maker on the drain plug set for at least 24 hours. After that, you can fill up the system with new coolant, burp it and let the thermostat open at least twice, but I guess you know the procedure. And here we go, that's how it's done, or at least that's how I've done it. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. You might help someone to do it better and improve the overall process. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful and subscribe for more new guides and tutorials on Subarus that is upcoming on this channel. Thanks for watching and have a great day.